Glendalough is an amazing national park in County Wicklow, Ireland. Not only is it beautiful, stunning, gorgeous, but it's steeped in thousands and thousands of years of history. In this video, I'm going to show you the best trails, the best Glendalough has to offer, both from the past and the present. So put your hiking boots on and join me on this epic adventure. Oh, and along the way, I'm going to have several surprises for you, so you won't want to miss anything. In part one, we explored the monastic city with the Round Tower and the 7 churches of Glendalough. Today, I'm going to take you to explore the natural beauty of this park, and you will understand why every year this park attracts millions of visitors. If you missed the first part, I'm going to put a link up here and in the description below. Just to give you a little bit of background, the valley was formed around 20,000 years ago at the end of the last ice age. The glaciers melted and left a moraine across the valley mouth. In case you don't speak geography, as I don't, I had to look up what a moraine is, and it's the trail left behind by moving glaciers. So think of the glaciers like bulldozers. They came down the valley and just pushed all the sediment and rocks with them, forming the valley itself and the river. And in case you're wondering how they knew it was glaciers, well, moraines only form through the action of glaciers. So yeah, the scientists are pretty conclusive on that. Go forward 18,600 years, and that's when St. Kevin came down here to start his monastery. Fast forward another 1,400 years, and I'm standing here trying to make sense of everything that surrounds me. If you like hiking or rock climbing, the valley is surrounded by several mountain ranges. I'm not much for climbing or for steep hills, so I'll pass on those trails and leave it to the advanced hikers. As I said before, Glendalough has been a place where people have come to for thousands of years, for one reason or another. Now we come here for the views, for these beautiful woodlands, for the mountains, for the hikes. In the olden days of St. Kevin, they came here on their pilgrimages to see St. Kevin and the holy monastic city. And before that, who knows, with the Cahir, with the prehistoric buildings that we find around, the ruins of them anyway. We don't know what actually happened here. The thing is, this is a beautiful place and there is something for everyone. Let's talk about the trails. This is the Green Road. It's one of my favorite trails. Well, it's easy, as you can see, it's mostly flat, so it's pretty easy to go up and down. But the views are beautiful. It takes about 50 minutes to an hour for you to walk around. It'll take you around the valley. The last time I was here, I encountered some ducks along the way, and they're really friendly, and they're not shy to come up to visitors and ask for food. So, as you're walking the Green Road, don't be surprised if the wildlife comes up to you. You might see squirrels, or even feral goats. As you cross the wooden bridge coming from the monastic city, you will find a piece of granite with a circular hole in it. Next to it, there are other boulders, but this one here is very special. It's called a bullion. Now, the purpose of these stones is still up for debate. My favorite theory is that these were used to grind up grains during the Neolithic age. Some say that these were used for rituals as well, where you would get pebbles and you would say a prayer as you rolled the pebbles inside the stone. Legend has it that this deer stone in particular is related to a story from St. Kevin's time. The story goes that there was a sorceress named Kenach. Her husband Coleman, a tribal chief, had divorced her and taken another wife. Yeah, it seems like the Irish were very modern back then and divorce was already a thing. So she was enraged. She was really angry at that, and it is said that she took the lives of all their kids, except for one, a little boy named Follen. To protect him, they asked St. Kevin to take care of him inside the monastery. The only problem is Kevin had no milk. There were no cows here, so he had no way to feed little Fallen. So, as monks do, he prayed to God for a solution. The next day, a doe showed up right next to that particular Bolin, and the deer gave her milk to feed the little boy. And then she did this every single day until the little boy was bigger. When Connacht found out that the boy was still alive, she was really angry, and she said she would come to Glendalough and use her magic on St. Kevin and end the boy's life. St. Kevin, as you would expect from a monk, once again prayed to God for guidance. What do I do? God said he would be protected, and when Connacht showed up and tried to use her magic on St. Kevin and the boy, she was blinded by God's power and fell to her death. These Bolins date back to the Neolithic period. Interestingly enough, at least 30 of them have been found around Glendalough. These stones were taken to build parts of the church, and you will find one in the wall of the cathedral. You will also find one in the St. Mary's Church as part of the altar. It was actually incorporated in the altar in St. Mary's Church. Another one seems to have been thrown in the Glendaston River, just outside the gatehouse of the car park. Another day, another trail. This is the Derrybon Trail over here. It's a bit more challenging than the Green Walk. It's an 8-kilometer hike, and it takes about 2 hours for more experienced hikers. It will take you 160 meters up the Derrybon Mountain. It starts back there at the waterfall, and it goes all the way around until you loop back to the waterfall. Come on, come with me. It's really beautiful here, and stick around and find out which ones I was able to conquer. As you can see, the Derrybon Trail gets a little bit steeper, a little bit harder, a little bit more challenging, but let's keep on persevering. We're about 1/4 of the way up, maybe a little less. So let's keep going and see where we get. Now, if you're an experienced and adventurous hiker, this here that you will see here behind me is the Spink, and it goes up the mountain. And this is also part of the Wicklow Way. So this is something I won't even attempt. It's 11.5 kilometers of trail, and it would take an experienced hiker about 4 hours, if not more, to complete. So if you're adventurous, you go this way. If you're not, you go that way, because this is still a hill walk. The Spink will take you all the way up, around the mountain, around the valley, all the way to the other side. It's a long walk, but if you have a full day, this is definitely an amazing place to come, and look out for the Present Rock. This is a place for epic photo. It's gorgeous scenery. This is the Polenass waterfall. Isn't it gorgeous? This is just beautiful. It's been here for thousands of years. It was formed after the last ice age. There are 2 trails that go over the Polenass waterfalls, and they are the Polenass trails. They're quite short compared to the other trails. They're only 1.6 and 1 kilometer long. However, they take you up several hundred meters, so they are pretty steep hikes. I'm not going to attempt them, so I hope you can. If you do, let me know. Right next to the information center, you'll find the Cahir. Cahir comes from the Irish for stone ring fort. This kahar between the two lakes probably dates back to the Bronze Age, but there are no records as to how old it actually is. Ring forts like this one are found all over Ireland and even across the seas in Wales and Scotland. Right next to the ring fort are these crosses, the remains of them anyway. This was a place of pilgrimage, so it's believed they were used as stations on the pilgrim's route. This is the Miners' Road Walk. As the name suggests, it's a trail that will take you to the abandoned miners' village, all the way at the end of the upper lake. This is a 1 hour and 15-minute trail approximately, and will take you all around the upper lake. It's a lovely trail that you should try. This trail is really pretty. It's skirted by Scots pines, and if you're lucky, you can spot feral goats. Maybe you'll also be able to spot some of the other local wildlife. It's really beautiful, especially on a day like this, with the sun reflecting on the water. Now, if you're really lucky, you might spot peregrine falcons. Although they fly really high above the trees, you might be able to hear their call. It's a really high-pitched call, and you can hear it from far away. This park is amazing if you like bird watching. About halfway up the trail, you'll find a sign to St. Kevin's Bed. If you look across the way, you will see two caves, a larger one and a smaller one. Allegedly, the small one is where St. Kevin would come to meditate. It's called St. Kevin's Bed. It's a small man-made cave on the other side. It's a flat surface inside. Now, the valley has been inhabited for thousands of years. So there were people living here way before any monks came, way before St. Kevin's time. And I wonder if St. Kevin would have felt as comfortable in that cave if he had known that that originally was a Bronze Age tomb. The area's mining history dates back all the way to the 18th century. At that time, they mined for lead and zinc, and also some other minerals that were of less importance on these hills. As I mentioned before, this was the secondary mine, because the main village and the main mines were over in the neighboring Glendasson Valley. Interesting fact, in 1859, the Glendasson and Glendalough mines were connected by a series of tunnels called the adits. They went through the Kaminderi Mountain, and they used trams and trail cars to transport the ore. Sadly, the tunnels are now flooded, and the tramways and inclined rails, the system is all gone. Behind the miners' village is the Kaminderi Mountain. The peak is at a staggering 699 meters. Mining in Glendalough and Glendasson took place in 3 phases. The first phase was from 1825 to 1890, and that was done by the Mining Company of Ireland. The second phase took place between 1890 and 1925 by the local Wynn family. The mines were reopened briefly between 1948 and 1957, but then they were shut down and mining ceased completely. Now let's head back for the next trail, and I do have a few surprises for you. Part of the Green Road Walk is parallel to the woodland trails. This is the boardwalk all around here, and you go around the lower lake. Now the woodland trails will take you up the Glendasson. It follows the Glendasson River up to the Glendasson mines, all the way up on top of that hill over there. It's a beautiful trail. It's also skirted by trees, and interestingly, we spotted frogs. At this time of the year, they'll be spawning. And on the side of the boardwalk, you find little puddles where you can find the frogs. This is a 4-kilometer trail, and it will go around the lower lake, up to the Glendasson, and back down. And it touches in parts the Wicklow Way. It's a very beautiful and scenic walk, and it's not one that's explored by many of the visitors. It's quite secretive. Now, if you thought the Woodland Road was challenging, then you might want to head back to the car park. Enjoy a nice hot cup of coffee or tea. Maybe a burger? It's interesting, as you walk along the trails here in Glendalough, you find remnants of St. Kevin's Monastery everywhere. I was walking along the Miners Road, and look, I just found this cross here. There is no information, and I didn't see it in any of the maps, but it's right here, and it's probably been here for a few hundred years. Maybe it's even from the St. Kevin's time in the 6th century. Do you remember when I was in the middle of the Derry Bond Trail and I pointed to a fork in the road that led to the Spink Trails? Well, if you're an adventurous hiker, and of course you're fit, you should definitely try the Spink Trails. The Spink is that hill where St. Kevin's bed is carved into, and on that side of it, it's a near vertical climb. However, there are 3 well-defined trails starting at that turnoff. They all start basically at the information center and go up next to the Polonais waterfall, but they will all go through that turn on the road. The first one of the 3 is called the short route, and it's just 5.5 kilometers with an elevation of only 300 meters. The second trail is the Spink and Wicklow Way. It's an epic 11.5 kilometer trail with a climb of about 490 meters. The third one is the Spink and Glenelg Valley Trail. It's 9.5 kilometers and it has a climb of 380 meters. All these trails share the boardwalk. This is interesting because the boardwalk is made up of over 600 steps. There are other routes that link into these, such as the Wicklow Way, which is mere 29-kilometer hike along rough terrain and dense forests, where you can see herds of deer and sheep, and I guess that's a good reward when you're going through all those very hard to walk terrains. In any case, these trails deserve their own videos, so I won't get into much detail now. I hope you enjoyed this amazing 2-part adventure. Have you ever been to the national park? If you have, let me know down in the comments. Tell me what your favorite stories are. If you haven't, would you like to come? I hope you can and enjoy some of these amazing views and adventures. Let me know down in the comments which trails you'd like to try and which you might not even dare. I look forward to reading your stories and your comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.